Hello BookTube, my name is Adrienne and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to film my October wrap up for you guys, and I will apologize right now that this video is coming out so very late in October. However, I have a very good reason for you, and that is because the day I was planning to film this video was November 2nd, and that is because I like to film my videos after the first day of the month, and that way I have, you know, the entirety of the previous month, you know, work through just in case I finish a book on the last day. So I was gonna film this video on November 2nd, and instead that morning our daughter decided she wanted to be born. So I had some bigger priorities that day, and today is the first chance I've gotten to sit down and film since she's been born. She's currently sleeping with in the other room with my husband, and so I am not going to get her to show you, but I will post a picture of her somewhere on the screen because she is adorable and I like showing her off. But yeah, so I apologize that this video is so late by when I said it was going to be, or by any standard for that matter, but a little human took priority. So yeah, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into what I read in the month of October. I read 6 books in the month of October, which comes out to 1,784 pages. I gave one of them a 3-star and the other 5 or 4 stars. So overall, pretty good average reading month for me. I'm going to structure this video slightly different than usual. Usually I go in order of the date that I finished a book. However, because I read an entire series this month and not consecutively, we're just gonna go with the star rating for this video instead. I will also say I do not have the physical books here to show you at all. I have none of them because they were all either audiobooks or I got them from the library and have had to return them quite a while ago. So I have no books to show you. So my 3-star read for the month of October was Rooms by Lauren Oliver. Like I said, I gave this book 3 stars. It took me a long time to figure out what was happening in this book because this book is an adult novel. I will say that now because I did not know this was an adult novel going into it. Yeah, it is definitely an adult novel. Nothing gets super graphic, but it's actually no, some stuff gets pretty graphic. Definitely adult novel, so know that going in. But this book is about a house and the family of the man who's just passed away. This guy dies and his ex-wife and children come back to the house to clean out the house before an estate sale, try and clean it out, get the house ready to be sold. And it is about them and their past and their history, as well as the ghosts that live in that house and their past and their history related to the house. And it goes by room. So part 1 is the kitchen, I believe, and each part goes to a different room in the house. And this book was a little hard to follow because we're following so many characters. I believe we follow, like at the beginning we're following 5 people, and then throughout the book we end up adding a few more people that we see from their point of view and get a little snippet of their story. So goodness, there's a lot of perspectives in this book and there's a lot to try and follow, and it's kind of a mystery because you're getting the story in pieces. You're not getting the story from beginning to end. You're not getting everyone's story that way. You're getting everyone's story in chunks. So it was very hard to follow, and because it was so hard to follow and because I was not prepared for some of the more adult content of the book that I just didn't appreciate, it was not for me, I gave this book 3 stars. Once I figured out what was going on, the story was interesting, but I didn't figure out what was going on until the last 20 pages of the book. So overall, it was interesting. But I did enjoy this book once I finally figured it out, but like I said, it took forever. So yeah, I gave this book 3 stars. And then, like I said at the beginning, I had 5 4-star reads this month. I had an entire trilogy, which I will talk about last, but the first 4-star book I read this month was Until Friday Night by Abby Glines. This book follows our two main characters, West and Abby. West has a very difficult life at home. His father is dying and no one knows. None of his friends know. It's just him and his mom and his dad are the only ones who know that his dad is dying of cancer. And he can't tell anyone. That's the agreement their family has. Nobody can know what's happening. So he is, you know, the most popular kid in school. He's on the football team, but he's struggling with this, you know, aspect of himself. And Maggie comes to school after her father has murdered her mother. She transfers to the school living with her aunt and uncle and her cousin, and she refuses to talk. Part of her, you know, coping mechanism with what she witnessed with her father is that she refuses to talk. She is mute. She's chosen to be mute. And then one day, West tells Maggie about his dad, because who better to tell your secret than somebody who's definitely not going to share it. And he did not expect her to then talk to him. He is the only one she will talk to, and from that, they form a relationship. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars because there were some things that I just thought were kind of dumb. There were a lot of communication issues, and then the climax and resolution of the story was so quick that it just didn't feel real to me. So that is why I docked a star, but I did like other aspects of the book enough that obviously that I continued to give it 4 stars. So yeah, that was my first 4-star read of the month of October. So the next book that was a 4-star read for me in the month of October was The Master's Magician by Charlie N. Holmberg. This is the 3rd book in the Paper Magician trilogy. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars, and I believe I gave the first 2 books in the series 4 stars as well. Because this is the last book in the series, I am not really going to tell you anything about it because it will spoil the first 2 books in the series, even though each book has its own distinct storyline. They do have one storyline that arches over the 3, and telling you anything about the 3rd book will spoil that for you. And I don't want to do that because I love this series and absolutely recommend it. But the first book in the series, The Paper Magician, is about Sienny, who is trained to be a magician in this world, and where you can use elements, man-made elements, so paper, iron, glass, metals, things like that, man-made elements, and use them for magic. And she finishes magician school and then is forced to become a paper magician. She, unlike most students, did not get to choose what kind of magicianship internship she wanted or apprenticeship she wanted. She was told she had to be a paper magician. And so she then has to go to become to study to become a paper magician. She's not a huge fan of this, but she's going to do it because she wants to be a magician. So she begins her apprenticeship under magician Emery Thane, and this is not a spoiler because it is in the description of the book, but one day someone breaks into their cabin and literally rips out Magician Thane's heart. And Sienny folds him a paper heart, puts it in his chest, and it's just enough to keep him alive, long enough for her to decide she's going to go out and hunt down the person who stole his heart and get it back for him. Yeah. It was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. I gave the second book 4 out of 5 stars as well. And I have also given the last book, The Master Magician, 4 out of 5 stars. I did find a few things with this book that weren't my favorite, obviously, because I gave it 4 stars. Sienny and Magician Thane spend basically the entire book separated from each other. But one of the things I loved about the first 2 books in the series were the relationship that Sienny and Magician Thane have together, and not seeing them being able to interact as much throughout the 3rd book definitely kind of spoiled it a little bit for me. I didn't enjoy the story as much because of that. So that's why I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last 3 books I read in the month of October were all 4-star reads, and that was the entirety of the Gold Seer trilogy, which is made up of Walk on Earth a Stranger, Like a River Glorious, and Into the Bright Unknown. I gave each of these books 4 out of 5 stars. There are various different reasons for each book why I didn't give this book 5 stars, but I did enjoy all 3. If you do not know what the first book in this series is about, it is about our main character Lee, who has the ability to sense gold in the ground, and she lives during the time of the gold rush. So this is a very convenient trait. The only people who know about this ability are herself and her parents. And after one day suffering a major tragedy in her life, and she flees for California in hopes of finding gold and staking her own claim, as well as getting away from this huge life situation. And so the first book is about that journey to California. The second book is about being in California, and then the third book is also in California with a different storyline. But yes, I really enjoyed all 3 of these novels. The last book took me a little bit longer to read because we're not following the same kind of we're not the individual we were dealing with that was causing the conflict in the first 2 novels is not as prominent in the third, and so it took me a little bit longer to become invested in the third book, but I did enjoy all 3 of these books. So that is all that I have for the books I read in the month of October. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have read any of these books before and what you thought of them. And yeah, I will try really hard to keep my posting schedule at 2 days a week. I'm not positive yet I can do that because I do have 2 babies now, and my husband has to go back to work day after tomorrow, and then I'll be alone again. So I'm not sure how this whole thing is gonna work, but I'm gonna take advantage of him being here and try and film as many videos as I can now. So if I am in the same outfit for the next, 2 months, that's why. I don't think it'll be that long, but I'm going to try and keep to that posting schedule. If I have to go down to 1 video a week, I'm sorry, but life happens. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and supporting me in that way. If you liked this video or want to see more of my content, please like this video and maybe subscribe so that you can see when I post videos. Currently my posting schedule is every Friday and then either Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, that is all I have for this video today. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.